as one of the biggest bull years, 2019 here, comes to an end, we need to look. What stocks should we be buying in 2020, huh? What are we going to do to keep getting these gains in 2020? I've compiled a list of 4 stocks for us to look at today. 4 stocks that I consider to be decent purchases, even after all these, the run-up of this year's market. I believe these stocks are still decent purchases. One of them is a more speculative stock, but there's 3 core ones I want to look at. Then we'll look at that speculative one. So I certainly hope you enjoy. Let's get right into it, obviously with the first one featured right in front of your face. It's going to be Facebook. And there's a lot of reasons, really, for why Facebook's here. If we look year to date, obviously this thing has had a nice run-up of around 53%, so there's no doubt 2019 has been very nice to Facebook. But if we're looking over the past 5 years, actually since July of 2018, the thing's relatively stagnant over a 1.5-year period, which for a company like Facebook you might think is crazy, but it's really been lagging ever since there's these privacy concerns due to the Cambridge Analytica scandal, in which people's personal data was sold to advertisers and given out without their permission. So understandably, the market just freaked out about this, and now we're on the path of recovery, obviously, as they've both strengthened everything they've gone. They've paid a fine. They paid a $5 billion fine because of it, and people are still trying to attack them on it, which is crazy. You already know how it goes, money hungry. Everyone's going to be stealing money from big corporations, naturally. I mean, they have the money to give, but they've already paid for it, but people are still trying to make nonsense. But guess what? There's a reason why I like Facebook even after a 53% run-up this year. If we're looking at the valuation of this thing, it is a forward PE of only 22, okay? This is a time in which, if you look at the market, the average PE has got to be around 25 to 30. And that's forward PE as well. So this is a time in which that's looking at around the S&P 500 will be around 30 for most stocks right now. So a company like Facebook is not like most companies. Okay, there's a big difference here. The reason being why this guy's different is because of the absolute massive growth beast that it is. So it does not, in my opinion, frankly, doesn't deserve to be tied up in the same valuation as these other guys. It doesn't. This is one of those companies that I believe should be trading higher than its valuation. Obviously, selling around 20 is fair value for me. I like selling around 20, but that is justifiable when you're more of a value stock that makes sense. But this is a company that's massively growing revenues. So this PE ratio currently just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like it should be trading a lot higher, and I think it's one of the only major really good deals that's in the market right now. If you're looking at for growth stocks, I think it's a fantastic opportunity here. If we're looking at earnings, and again, this is just a point of how much they're growing earnings here. So if you look from 2015 when they had $18 billion in revenue, they've now grown that on a trailing 12-month standpoint as of today, $66.5 billion. That's right. 4 years. 4 years they've transformed that into, they've transformed 18 billion to 66.5 billion. That is an insane amount of money. And what I also want to point out here, which is extremely important to me, look at this profit line. The profit keeps growing. I mean, significantly too. This is an extreme growth in profit. You're not losing profitability as you're growing revenue, which is what I really enjoy about this company. And if we're looking from a net income standpoint, it would still be growing this year. Again, the only reason you might see this decrease is obviously that $5 billion fine will be included in this. And that's really going to take a toll on the net income line. But this is a company that in a year is bringing home $20 billion. $20 freaking billion. Holy crap. That's more in 1 year than, I'll get in 10 of my lifetimes. Holy crap. 50 of my lifetimes. 200 of my lifetimes. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot of money, $20 billion. And it just looks like the trend is growing, too. They've had a lot more expenses this year, which is really where you see that a little bit decrease in net income. But I'm not going to be upset about a $20 billion income-making company. Holy crap. That's ridiculous profitability. They are printing money. Absolutely printing money. There's no denying it. They're printing money. All right. I love it. I love it. They're printing money. What can I say? I mean, that's what else do you want me to say about Facebook? If you're looking at previous earnings too, obviously, I mean, this is a company growing. Advertising 28% year over year. Again, total revenue growing 29% year over year. And that's really my main point is advertising revenue really is only increasing if you're talking about from an online standpoint. So this is a company that is still going to be growing revenue still rapidly. They have plenty of room to grow it rapidly. That's why I like Facebook so much. And the thing is, they're obviously not just a Facebook platform. If you're looking at daily active users, they're actually still growing daily, monthly, and annual active users on the Facebook platform. On the Facebook platform, which everyone had their quote-unquote, you know what I mean? You remember the delete Facebook phase? They're still growing users rapidly. For a platform as old as it is, it's kind of a shocker. Their real main platform now is what they own in Instagram, to be honest. So Instagram, obviously, is the new hotness for all social media, really. It is the app right now to have, to be using. Everyone's using Instagram right now, and it's growing rapidly, and they're adding a lot of features to Instagram that are going to make it a lot more of a revenue driver. You have Instagram Shops, you have Instagram TV. It's just a platform that is, as it gets monetized more, it's going to be a lot of revenue sitting in the wings for Facebook to be earning on. We also have WhatsApp. They also own WhatsApp. No doubt about that. You already know about that. Facebook owning WhatsApp could be fantastic for them. That's a growing platform as well, and it's still in its infancy in terms of monetization, as I should say. So there's still plenty of growth to go on that. And finally, as I mentioned yesterday, you know what? Freaking Oculus. They own Oculus. They own the number one virtual reality company right now. Oculus is, in my opinion, I don't think there's any really denying that VR is going to be the future of gaming. It's really where we're headed just as a society in most aspects. It's not necessarily going to be about gaming. It's just going to be experiences in general, too. You can watch a movie in virtual reality. It's going to be a lot more prevalent as time goes. And Oculus has a fantastic head start, and they're way ahead of the competition. They just are. They just completely are. Especially with the Oculus Quest. It's a completely wire-free headset that tracks full body. It's fantastic. Tracks full body. It's fan-freaking-tastic. That's all I could tell you. And they only just continue to grow, Oculus Quest is going to be selling super well this year. I can guarantee that. They have other options as well. But, again, all I can say is Facebook, they got everything going for them right now, and that's why I'm interested in Facebook. Next stock is going to be, that's right, absolutely, it's going to be Disney. And you may think I'm freaking crazy because if you're looking at the year-to-date run-up on this thing, well, up 33%. But to be fair, that's simply just mimicking the market, if you really want to consider it that way. If I look at the 5-year chart here, here's what I kind of like about Disney, okay? Overall in 5 years, only up 55%, right? That's not absurd at all. If you think about 33% of that came in 1 year. I'm by no means upset with that valuation, that growth, because I think there's a lot of stagnation here. I picked up most of my core position in Disney in 2017 when it was just stagnant as can be. And it was stagnant for a little while, but it's finally saw some, and I still see plenty of value here. I saw a picture there and there. Top stories confuse me. It's a cat. It's okay. So what's going on for Disney that that makes me like the valuation? That one really hurt me, attacked my throat. Well, this is a company right now trading at a PE of right around 22, okay? Right around 22. And this forward PE number, it's not accurate. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's just not accurate. It might be accurate. I'm just kidding. So there's a lot going on, and I think valuation for Walt Disney is Mr. Walt Disney Company. It's going to change quite a bit here in the coming future. There's a lot of reasons for it. There's good reasons why it was stagnant is because it was such a developed, long-standing company. But this past year, they really are trying to transform that company into growth, and I think they're doing a plenty fine job. And a lot of that's going to be through their Disney Plus platform, which I'll get into just a little bit. So if you think about that, and if you look at companies, other streaming companies like Netflix, you're going to see that I can guarantee Disney is going to be hitting a little bit of a decrease in terms of their actual net income. You're going to see a little bit of a decrease in net income, but overall they have a good cash pile that if they're still making money, it's perfectly fine for them. And they can still continue to pay out their small-ish dividend that they pay out biannually, that is, which they just announced their biannual one right now. I love it. So I think this valuation will be a little bit different if you look in the future, just because of the fact that I think revenue will be increasing at a more rapid rate, but earnings probably will stay stagnant or decrease potentially. So it all depends on how they're handling it. So far, if we're looking at previous revenue lookings, right? So this is a company that, again, since 2016, revenue hasn't shot up dramatically. I mean, it was nothing really going on for 3 years there, but this past year, or this year at least, look at that revenue change. The revenue changed quite a bit, and I think that's going to keep growing. A lot of that, again, there's many reasons for it. There's definitely very much success in the box office going on here. They've had 6 movies reach $1 billion in 2019. I don't think they're going to repeat that success in 2020, but that's all that revenue excluding their acquisition of Fox. So they now own Fox Studios and Fox Media as well. And that's going to be a real big increase in terms of their revenue for this upcoming year because they didn't have a full year really with those assets, and now they do. So you should see a lot of increase in terms of revenue here. But again, I think valuation may be a little bit different because I think earnings will also decrease because of it. And if we look at our little favorite thing here, 17% year-over-year change in revenue, which I love. If you're comparing quarters, it's up 34%, which I love that. But on an annual basis, up 17%. Fantastic. But you do see, again, a decrease in this revenue line, or in this operating income line. So you definitely see his EPS decrease as well. So you're going to see a little bit less profit coming out of this company, but a lot more revenue. So they're really trying to transform from that value stock range to a growth stock range. And again, that's all because of this lovely platform here, known as Disney Plus. Look at Iron Man here. Look at Darth Vader here. Look at Elastigirl here. And, Moana's there. And then I don't know what that guy is, but looks like weird coked up Ben Stiller or something when he's old. Obviously, they have their Disney Plus originals, The Mandalorian being their... it's Jeff Goldblum. I don't really care about Jeff Goldblum. The Mandalorian's their main Disney Plus original they've been heavily advertising. And guess what? It's a freaking banger of a show. There's no denying it. Love it. Everyone's really gets critically getting very good reviews. People are digging The Mandalorian, and it opens up for a lot of opportunities here in this original standpoint. They have a lot of room for growth in these original contents. And again, all those Marvel originals that were on Netflix that aren't, I'm hoping to see them get ported over here and maybe potentially continue it. Something like, well, in my opinion, this is just, maybe being selfish, but if they could bring back The Punisher, I'll be 100% back with it. I mean, the series was freaking-tastic. Jon Bernthal, love it. What a guy. Love that series. I want it back. I want it back. But again, it owns all your brands, your Disneys, your Pixar, your Marvels, your Star Wars, and your Nat Geos. And they also offer this bundle program, but it's a cheap price, and Disney Plus is going to be bringing them a lot of freaking revenue. That's all I can say. We'll see years to come. What happens this next year will be a first full year with Disney Plus income, so I will be excited to see what happens. Your third stock, well, I'm going to be a little bit more safe, I should say, because everyone's still fearing potential of recession. I don't think it's possible now, just because consumer confidence is so high right now. It'll take a while for it to actually have this decreasing effect, and for GDP to actually decrease that significantly if we're really rocking it out as much as we are. So I think it'll be more of a 2021 type thing. But we have Apple Hospitality, and I just talked about it as one of my favorite dividend stocks, and I freaking love this one. And there's good reason why I love it. If we're looking, obviously, year to date on valuation, it's a little bit skewed of 13%, just because of if we look, 5 years out, you see just this pretty big drop off here. But overall, not much price movement, down 11.5% in the past 5 years, and really it's just stagnation for a good reason. It's a very high dividend payer, yielding traditionally around 7.5%, and that's usually that's usually in that range because there's some good reasons. Well, this is a consistent 10-cent payer. They don't raise dividend. They don't decrease dividend. They pay 10 cents per share every month, okay? Which, depending on stock price, usually will land you right around 7.5%, occasionally up to 8%, occasionally down to 7%. It all depends on where that share price is looking. They don't grow the dividend. It just stays stagnant at 10, and that's why I like it. It's a consistent monthly payer for you. It's monthly income you can have. If you develop a nice position on your portfolio in this, you can get yourself a meal paid out for, all by this Apple Hospitality. Now, if you have a smaller position where maybe you can get, 30 some odd shares, it's not too absurd to ask for. Guess what? That $3, at least it may not be a good meal. You can get yourself a nice couple items from the dollar menu at Taco Bell or something. I'll take it. I'm not going to be upset. Or you could reinvest it, and guess what? You'll get more. You'll get more on it. You'll just keep getting more on it. And this is a company, too, if we're looking in terms of revenue. Revenue is actually increasing over the past 5 years, which is definitely something of note. So you should see valuation is potentially, there's a chance to rise, but again, I don't really care about the stock price here. I'm not a huge fan of, in my opinion, I don't necessarily think I need to see an increase in share price. I don't think I do, at least, because I'm perfectly fine with where the share price is at right now. If I can keep getting my 10 cents, yielding 7.5% a year, I love that. Because that's guaranteed gains. That's not anything I have to worry about selling for, so I have no issue with that. And again, if on the net income aspect, nothing too crazy in terms of growth, but there is net income growth here, which I like. I do like to see it. Other than that, we want to see what all does Apple Hospitality own. So Apple Hospitality is a hotel. They own hotel properties and other such things, and the brands they carry. Here's a map of where they operate right now. The brands they carry, obviously some of the big known ones: Courtyard, Embassy Suites, Fairfield, Hampton, Hilton. That's right. Home2 Suites, don't really know about them. Homewood Suites, don't really know about them. Hyatt, Independent, Marriott, that's right, they own some Marriott properties. Renaissance, Residence Inn, Spring Hill Suites, and Town Place Suites. So, again, a company operating here in the United States of America. Still gathering properties as time goes, and that's the benefit of growing revenue, is they're able to actually get more properties into their portfolio of things. They have on 234 hotels right now, and that is an increasing number, so it's fantastic to see. Apple Hospitality owns more than one hotel in this market. That's right. They own more than one hotel in that market. That's what it means if it's got that circle thing. But look at that. That's exciting. And in 34 different states and 87 markets. So I love that. I love Apple Hospitality because I get 10 cents. 10 cents every freaking month per share. I love it. But again, that's just an idea of what they do as business. So let's take a look at my last one, which is going to be a speculative one, which, again, look at, do your own research, look at it on your risk. This is just something that I think there's potential out there for it. It's going to be New Age Beverage Corporation, okay? Based out of Aurora, Colorado. You can see where I'm getting at here. Based out of Colorado. You already know what they do. Come on now. But year to date, this thing's hammered. Down at 65%. 5 years out, obviously. Nothing really going on here. It used to be a penny stock. Then we saw some hype. Thing was up over 1,000%. And from its highs, it's down pretty significantly. So 52-week high of $7.79. Now down to $1.85 per share. So I think there's value here for a couple reasons. It's one of those companies that's in a really big transitionary phase because of what business they do. So they own a couple different companies, but for the most part, they're very well known for their CBD infused beverages. So they're a big CBD beverage consumer. And as CBD becomes a lot more widely used, not only around the United States, but just globally too, they're really expanding that market and being able to sell more and more. And you can really see that in terms of their revenue. So if we're looking at revenue on a New Age beverage, really there wasn't much going on for a little while here. And then just recently, year over year, this company has just taken off in terms of what they're doing here. They're also, again, noteworthy. A negative. They're a money loser. They are a money loser. Not an awful money loser though. Just so you know. But off of most recent earnings here, you see net. Look at this growth in net revenue. This is taken in thousands, so 60 or really 70 million versus 13 million. So that's a significant growth. I mean, they're tripling what they're earning, almost 4 times what they're earning, really. So really it is, very close to 4 times what they're earning. So that's a fantastic growth number there. And their profit grows too, which is fantastic. But again, there's a lot of expenses, so they do see a little bit of a decrease there. A little bit less of an operating loss though, which is fan-freaking-tastic. So I love those numbers. I do love those numbers. You see a company that could potentially grow and potentially become profitable. I just like the potential because of where this market is going to be in the future, and I think 2020 is a good year for them to really work on that expansion. So what does New Age Beverage own? Well, they own Marley. You know Marley? Gosh darn it. Gotta love it. You see it in some gas stations. A lot of their products really you'll see mostly in like gas station type environments, really around Colorado. They got Jamaican Me Mango, yerba mate, Be Jammin' Berry, that's right, more yerba mate, Mellow Mood, raspberry and peach raspberry. My throat's really rude to me today. Other brand they own is Zing, all natural green tea, black tea, and white tea. Made with highest quality ingredients. So that's a big factor too, obviously too. A lot of this company is a very natural based company. They're not going to be really doing a lot of this preservatives, nonsense like that. This is a very natural based company, which people are really into right now. Again, this is made with, look at this, made with cane sugar. People are going to be more happy with that because it's a lot more natural than artificial stuff. And that's really kind of the health craze we're in right now, is all natural. So it's a very, very good option. And I think their potential is there. They just need to work on spreading where they're actually getting these products sold at. So obviously there's some hibiscus honey blossom, artisanal tea, Madagascar vanilla chai tea, blueberry, mango. again, from the Zing brand, they have plenty. We got Bucha, which I think you can assume is a kombucha. Kombucha's growing, obviously, because it's a very organic product. Some people will be disgusting, and they're going to eat the film that develops of bacteria, or really antibiotics, technically. You just eat that thing, and it'll just absolute culture shock to your white blood cells, and it's fantastic for you. Your immune system will be happy once you eat the film. I hate it. Oh, it's gross. I can't think about it. I don't like kombucha. It's gross. It's gross stuff, but they have a couple different, obviously, things. It's all going to taste like dirt and butthole combined. Blood orange, grapefruit, guava mango, yuzu lemon. They're going to try to make it seem good, but it's kombucha, so it's going to taste gross. And they own Coco Libre and Water is Life. I was always told ball is life, but water is life as well. So hydration is vital for our survival. Understanding their consumers bottled water more than any ready-to-drink beverage. People love bottled water. In conjunction with our charitable partner, we launched our very own Water is Life bottled water. First of its kind, 100% proceeds go towards the world water crisis. That's right. So that's very nice of them. Good publicity there. But on top of that, they also own Brands Within Reach, which they just acquired this year, actually in July, which owns Nestea, Volvic, Evian, and Illy as their main brands. But obviously Evian, big water provider, and Nestea. You obviously know Nestea as well. You gotta know that. So I love that. A nice purchase of a new company. Again, they're expanding. And if you think about it, I think there's two reasons why I like this company right now. One, I think just they can survive on their own. They absolutely can. But I can guarantee you, if they wanted to go the route of being acquired by a bigger company, whether it be a national beverage fizz, whether it be a PepsiCo or a Coca-Cola, I think they could go that route. If they wanted to be acquired, I don't think they need to, though. They really don't. They have what it takes to be successful. And 2020 is going to be a really good year for them in terms of growth of revenue, and that's what I like. So those are my four stocks for the year 2020. I really hope you enjoyed. Thank you.